This one is called Passion Fruit. And before that, we played you something by Younger featuring the likes of AKA and JR called Bay 2. Well, it is a Thursday afternoon. That means that we do talk to the young minds in entrepreneurship. And like I said, today is no different. We have a phenomenal young lady, young woman rather, in studio with us this afternoon, man. And just a little backstory on her. Entrepreneur started off very early on in her life, where her first job was that of actually volunteering at an old age home, and realized, I need some money, and went on to being a call center agent. And after that, then realized that business is for me. She goes by the name of Tsomo. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, honey. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you. Hello, Kofifi Landers.
Man, she's no stranger to the KYC, man. She just knows how to handle business and handle it well. Well, we need to get into the thick of things. I need to know from you, what was your journey like getting into the business space?
Okay. First of all, my first business space, it was in construction. I was in partnership. It went down the drain.
Okay.
Then, after investing a lot of everything that I had, basically, so I had to part ways, goodbye. Then learning from that lesson of partnership, I went a couple of years later, which is in 2014 late, I started a commodities industry, and I was a sole owner of the business, but obviously partnering with my suppliers, etc. So that is how it has been. It is also a very challenging industry. It has been very challenging. Yes, I operated it 2 years.
Wow.
2 years.
So 2 years in the trade industry of commodities, of which you were trading in oils and lubricants, right?
Yes.
We were having a conversation just before we entered into the studio. You mentioned that it is not the best option if you have not really been sustainable prior to getting into it.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
Okay, I started it from scratch, basically with no capital. I sourced a supplier who could give me some of the products on, stock on consignment, which means, on credit, then you pay back what you've paid off. But it was really not on high profits, because you're like an agent, so you sell on commission, which is very small. So I ended up finding small products, because the structure, I found suppliers outside the country, because the product will be cheap to bring it in. It means then I'm getting high profit. But getting deals, like someone to buy such high bulk, it was not selling like pancakes. So it means once a year or every 6 or 8 months, then maybe I have a possibility of somebody buying the oil.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Then I found small supplies that are available at the spot, which are like your engine flush, your diagnostic machines, and basically anything that has to do with an engine. So I moved into Selby, partnered with another supplier, and I had a workshop. So at the workshop, I performed like your basic services, like changing of oil, changing of spark plugs.
Yes.
So, but still, I could not break even, into my, financials.
Yeah.
And it gave me a challenge, because I basically started with nothing. I could not generate enough.
Yes.
I was on foot in the road every day.
Yeah.
Literally trying to sell oil.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I was in a better financial situation, I could bear it longer. In terms of operations and marketing, because that is cash flow needed to do those things. I could have still be in the game, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with that said, I mean, oils, we all know that the East Africa, that is, where we get, our imports and exports from in terms of oil. How was the journey into getting a foot into that market, especially oils, which is dominantly, a male dominated industry? How did you manage that as a woman and getting your foot in?
I must say it has been a challenge from onset, of which when I went in and did my research, I was not then thinking like, oh, I'm a woman, it's going to be hard for me to break in. I was just like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur.
There we
And
go.
if they can sell oil, I can sell it. Or,
Yeah.
you know, you understand what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
from that. I was not thinking I'm a female, they are males. It's only when I was dealing with one-on-ones, then it made me feel like I'm a female because of the reaction, because of the digestion of obviously sexist, you know, all the time. For example, I'll be emailing, cold calling, and they'll be thinking Lee Tsomo is some Chinese guy. Until they learn, like, no, it's a black African young chick.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, it changes their perception about
Yeah.
maybe giving me, and many times I'll be very close in, you know, in closing a deal until I make an appearance in person or they hear my voice on the phone.
Yeah.
And it obviously by default, it sort of takes away the confidence that they had, that they were dealing with some Chinese guy, obviously, who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And now like a young female, and obviously age plays a role as well. I think maybe if I was 40, 50, they would have thought like I've been in the industry for long. So at the time I was still very young, and you can obviously see that I'm very young, and my business obviously newly registered. So obviously I don't have like a list of clients backing up my reputation sort of. So I'm still building from scratch.
Yeah.
So I got that a lot. And I also was shut out by the system of how everything is structured in both the government sector and the private sector.
Okay, just to touch on the fact that you mentioned that age played a huge deal in how dealings went, you know, when you were on those one-on-one encounters. So with that said, how young were you when you got into commodities? And also, did you really love what you were doing at the time?
Okay, I enjoyed what I was doing at the time, learning a lot, but I was not passionate about it. I just learned to be good in everything that I do, put my best in it. But that does not mean that when you are good at something that you do, that you are passionate about it.
Right.
That is the difference. Age plays a role, because let me tell you why. Because wherever my cold callings or my research, you know, led me, where I have a targeted, you know, possible client or customer, it will be a very mature person that I have to deal with. Someone who's been, you know, in a manufacturing industry for years, like all of their lives.
Yes.
You know, them having to start as well, maybe the age of 20 something, because I started when I was 32, 31, no, 31, yes.
Okay.
So you meet like a 50-year-old guy or 40-year-old or 60-year-old factory owner who's been using one supplier or one specific brand of a product. And you are like 31 years old, and you're gonna try to sell him, you know, maybe a foreign version of the similar product, but much cheaper. And he's like, what do you know about oil? So you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So obviously that, and also because I'm a female, automatically, like, and I had, you know, Trevor, this one with big eyes.
Oh yes, Trevor Gumbi.
Yeah, Trevor Gumbi, and I was having a pop-up stand in Soweto, one of the car washes, selling some of the products. He came to me. He says, "Darling, oh, you are a promo girl. They just hired you because you look pretty. You have no idea about engines and cars." He was obviously not aware that he's talking to the owner of the business.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
And he walked away laughing. You know, things like that. Yeah, that made me feel like I'm a woman. And because I'm young, you don't know anything, you know. Maybe if I was a 50-year-old, he could have been a little bit more considerate in his approach. Like, no, you know, this is a mature lady. Maybe, she knows what she's doing.
Well, that is a woman in business. Young or old, I guess we just know how to rise and fall with the punches as it be. Well, the number is 071 45 9577. Make no mistake. You can send through your birthday wishes. Ask Lee any questions as a woman that's wanting to get into commodities, maybe. You know, what are the steps that you'd like to take, or what are the steps that Lee has taken? She's no longer in commodities, is, and she definitely has advice in staying in it or, just changing your path. The number, once again, 071 45 95 77. This right here is the KYC on your favorite radio station, Kofifi FM 97.2.
Yo, this is Suave from Prestige Cuvée. You're listening to KYC on Kofifi FM 97.2. Yeah.
Till that lucky day when she came my way and she smiled at me as if to say, my baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes and she knows how to use it. My baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes and she knows how to use it. The only one makes me feel so good, can't believe all my silent fears seem to fly away, and she looks at me as if to say, my baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes for me. No more lonely nights just waiting for the telephone to ring. No more lonely days, my baby's taking care of everything. I'm telling you people, she loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes, and she knows how to use it. My baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes, and she knows how to use it. She's the only one, make me feel so good, can't believe my love, so I knock on wood. All my silent fears seem to fly away, and she looks at me as if to say, give it all. Baby loves me loving, I got what it takes, and when I don't see her, I feel my heart break. She's a beautiful woman who makes me feel good. Can't believe I'm so lucky, so I knock on wood. My baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes, and she knows how to use it. My baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes, and she knows how to use it. My baby loves love, my baby loves love, and she's got what it takes, and she knows how
Hey, Jay, hoe lyk dit my Jay staan net rond en praat stront tussen die kwaras, ouwe?
Ja, slak het. Dis mos al kwaai net sien hoe jy jong.
Ouwe, maar se kan hoe lyk dit?
Kyk jy het 'n lekker jy net sien.
Gooi my broer, gooi.
Alright, die dogter sê, "Kom dik by die huis van die skool af." Dan moet sy mooi luister. Sy sit een kant en sê die hele tyd, "Ek skaam my dood. Ek skaam my dood." Hoekom lag jy dan nou so lekker? Ek is nog nie klaar
Nou
nie.
maar klaar man, ek is op pad breakfast toe.
Alright, dan maar vra wat is fout? Die dogter sê sak net so af. Hulle het 'n les by die skool gehad waar kinders vandaan kom en elkeen moes sê wat hy dink. Zanny sê, mens kan hulle by die kinderhuis koop. Zanny sê, sy kry hulle by die hospitaal te koop.
Nou wat is die probleem my broer?
Nou dat is exactly wat die ma ook gevra het. Die kind gooi. Ek moes vir die kinders sê, ons is so arm. My pa moes myself maak.
Nee my broer man, ek gaan nou liever lyn man.
Casper Nyoves coming through with a song called Destiny featuring the likes of Huapili. My goodness, this one is from his new album Tuto. We're talking in studio right now, and Lee is saying that she's a fossil. She doesn't believe that she knows any of this music, and I just basically said to her, "This is the KYC. We serve you real good entertainment on a daily, so you need to be tuned in, girl. Like I don't know what you're doing with your life between the hours of 2 and 3, so I don't know. Like
Girl, I'm
what?
tuning in from now on.
Still listening to your old collections of Squatter
Yeah.
Camp, Dwale.
Yes,
Girl.
Pro Kid, you know. I have to redeem myself.
You have to. You
Yeah.
have to. So at the end of the show, at least you need to at least give me back 2 titles of the songs that we played in the entire hour.
I will try my best.
Well, we do have Lee Tsomo in studio this afternoon, and basically she's just been in business, man, for a minute and a half. Talking to you, there is so much more to your story than just being a girl on the hustle, just being a woman that's trying to break into the market,
Yes.
where it's just the generalization that men are in there and there's no space for us women.
Yes.
Your story is more than that. So I just need to know. So we talked about how you got into business. So obviously you left Matric, and then you.
Yeah, I was forced to study podiatry by my mother
Okay.
because she had obviously her own plans about my life.
Right.
I had to be a doctor, graduate and marry a doctor, blah, 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 and have doctor kids. So unfortunately, she is a doctor, by the way. She's a psychometrist.
Okay.
But anyway, it also took her long for her dream to actually come true because she only started practicing last year at the age of 54.
Wow.
So she did not give up. But anyway, I dropped out
Okay.
after first semester.
Right. So obviously you're dropping out right now.
Yeah.
That is not making mom happy.
No, not at all.
Because mom is struggling, to make sure that you got that education that you got for the first semester.
Yes.
Now you're coming back home and you're like, well, moms, I'm not about to do this with my life.
Yeah.
I have chosen to do what?
Well, I wanted to pursue what I was naturally born with,
Okay.
which is art. I
Wow.
wanted to either do fashion design or
Get
be an
out.
artist. Then my mom told me, "Oh, you're gonna die poor. Artists, are poor. They suffer."
Yeah.
But obviously, I cannot blame her because she comes from that generation.
Yes.
Yes, from
Yeah.
that generation. So I was not supported.
All right. So in not being supported, do you then get threatened?
Yes, I got blackmailed.
All right. So what was the ammo? What was mom
My
saying?
mom told me, like, I'm cutting you off
Wow.
until you go back to school. So I said, you can go ahead, Ma. I'm going back to Joburg.
Okay. So you come back to Joburg and then
Yeah.
you volunteer at an old age home.
Yes.
Reason?
The reason why I volunteered at an old age home, remember now, my mom cut me off. I don't have anything. I only had my grandmother who was supportive, who sent me 150 rand from her pension money then. And I got myself a room in Soweto that cost 100 rand per month. So I was left with 50 rand in my pocket
My goodness.
for the rest of the month.
Wow.
So luckily, I saw an old age home in Central Western Jabavu,
Okay.
opposite Maurice Isaacson School.
Okay.
So I went there to plead to volunteer because I knew I'm going to get a meal from there, and
Yeah.
I knew like I'm going to get work experience, which I had none.
Yes.
Because I used to go look for newspapers that are thrown in the bin, and I would look for jobs. So when I opened the newspaper, I saw there is a lot of call center jobs. And office admin and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I can get a job. But then when I called, I don't have a CV, I don't have experience, I don't
Yes.
have qualifications. So a strategy comes to my mind. Okay, I can't afford to take myself to the college to get the qualifications. I can try to get experience by volunteering.
Okay.
But anyway, I looked around, but I know like if you go into an office environment, to volunteer, maybe they'll give you a stipend, but you've seen how Soweto is. It's not like there's lots of offices, like office parks in the suburbs.
Yes.
So, but I saw an old age home and I knew like I will get a free meal and I will work things from there, you know. And luckily I did get the support. And, you know, I started in the kitchen, and the mamas in the kitchen used to pack me skaftin in a 2-liter ice cream tub. And, you know, because why? I did not want to resort in ending up being given a lift by BMW or an Audi, a man, and you know what happens. You know what's the story. Yes. So I wanted to still be self-sustainable through the journey until I make it, because I believe that I made it. I can make it. Yes.
You know, for me, it's different to hear this side, you know, being the story actually being told by a woman.
Yes.
Generally, you'd hear this like, you know, no, I'm a guy, I've been hustling, you know, I got kicked out of home, and to hear it from a woman, and it's because you're being so vocal about it that it's different.
Yes.
But this is the story of many young women out there. Many women that has had to struggle their way through life to make ends meet. And now to this very point, you have come to, you know, the brink of life where you actually changed paths.
Yes.
So from having had that struggle, you got yourself into commodities. Challenges came your way day in and day out.
Yes.
Being a woman, being black, being, you know, younger in the industry, not having experience within the oil trade. So all of that was, you know, backed up against you, but yet you overcame. And why did you choose to leave commodity?
You know, it's not that I gave up commodities.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to be realistic in life and be practical in life. You know, I did have 2-3 deals, and I made profit from it. But because of my previous life, you know, there was a time of recession, and it happened at a time where I was well established, but losing everything put me into your credit. So I was over $500,000 indebted. Wow. So I could not afford, because I had a job before I started the business. So I quit the job to start the business, but I could not afford to have another 2 years. Like earlier, I mentioned the challenges, the structure, the system of both corporate and private industry. The government industry requires a minimum of you trading for 2 years and a list of, you know, referrals, customer who bought from you for 2 years. So the private sector, it's similar. They have contracts already with, you know, long-term contract, 3 years, 2 years, 5 years of, you know, of supply with established, you know, big guys in the industry. So where does it leave a starter-up entrepreneur like myself? You understand what I'm saying? It leaves you with a lot of running about, because you get people males who act like they are really interested in getting oil from you, but then at the end of the day, it ends up being countless meetings, and they flirt with you. Now you are in a predicament of not being sure whether they want to buy oil or not, or they want to get in your pants. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I am built with low tolerance for nonsense.
Okay.
Yes. So I used to tell them, are you either buying or you're not?
Right.
Why are you wasting my time? So they did not like that. So a lot of time I had to, you know, say goodbye to, you know, big possible deals that are worth billions. You know, because I'm losing my patience. I don't have time to, you know, to go for meetings 3 months in a row, but they end up being a private dinner with a possible person who ends up most of the dinner time talking about how beautiful you are instead of...
Gosh. It really does get to women. This is a real gosh. That just listening to that. No, but this is something that us women really do face on a daily. Be it you being in the boardroom, be it you being in the taxi, be it you being in the classroom, somebody asking to borrow your textbook because he forgot his.
Yes.
Well, it is what it is, man. We just learn once again to kind of just deal with it.
Yes.
It's sad that we have to do that because men don't perceive us as equal. Will we ever be equal? I don't know. I'd like to think in an ideal world, yes. However, right now it doesn't seem that way. But talking about, you know, not having time to be wasted, you have now ventured into the art space. Tell us more about that.
Well, I was a natural born artist. I could, draw or paint better than my kindergartens,
Yeah.
5-year-olds. So in primary school, my biology, sketches were always like more of a show off.
Well, guess what? Mine was too.
Anyway, and I remember I've always been drawing, sketches
Yeah.
of dolls wearing
Yes.
dresses, and my mom will come crash it. Do your maths,
Yes.
do your science.
Yeah.
And then there was a time whereby I really was initiating, the fashion design, cutting my own clothes, and people liked it. When I wear it, people love it. Oh, I love the pants. Oh, I love the top.
Yeah.
But then I was not in the right space, and I've always wanted to have an art gallery because I love art.
Wow.
And then I was never at the right space. I was always gallivanting, doing everything else, being someone employee, being, you understand what I'm saying, being unemployed, or so right now, I since last year I've started to paint.
Wow.
I just decided, let me go down the
that
and
route.
get canvas and get oils and brushes.
Right. So with art being as fickle as it is,
Yes.
like your mom predicted that you would die poor as an
Of
artist,
course.
right? That is kind of a true statement to make. However, there has been leaps and bounds in the industry as of late. I mean, you have the hubs such as, Maboneng,
Yes,
where it
for
really
instance,
showcases artists like yourself. You've got Soweto that's really open
Yes.
to graffiti artists, that's open to any kind of artist if you just have a talent for it and a passion for it. And you made a statement earlier that really stuck with me and resonated with me, that you say you can be good at something but not have to be passionate about it.
Exactly.
And now that you have journeyed into your art space, you need to tell us where we can find you, because clearly you've just started out.
Yes.
So you probably don't have, your own space.
Yes.
Can we get a hold of your art anywhere?
Yes, you can. You can log on to my website, www.litsomoart.com. Yes, that's my online art gallery, because I'm painting my own personal space.
All right.
However, once a month, I do have an exhibition in Soweto at Ekaya. Not Ekaya, sorry.
At home, okay.
At Masakeng.
Okay.
Eyetu. Yes,
All
Masakeng. We
right.
have once a month. It's called a buffet Sunday. It's every Sunday of the first month. So that's where you'll find me and my other co-artists exhibiting our artworks. Yes.
Question: what kind of artist are you?
I'm a visual artist. It means I paint. And obviously later on I want to do sculpts as well as pottery, because I did go through a pottery course at Credo Mutwa Openema Park in Soweto many years ago. So I was a natural sculptor, like it came naturally to play with clay. I molded beautiful people's faces. But that is obviously later on, because that type of art, it requires, art is very expensive.
Yes, it
the
certainly
tools,
is.
the materials, it's very expensive. But obviously as I grow, I would love to actually have, sculptures that you can buy, piece of pottery.
Your own studio, maybe?
My own studio. And so for now I'm just, painting, and I'm also sketching, using all sorts of different mediums.
All right.
Yeah.
So as a visual artist, what do you draw inspiration from?
People love asking, every artist that.
Yeah.
When you're an artist, you cannot channel yourself and say, today I'm drawing inspiration from that or that.
Okay.
It's like a natural high that happens to you. It comes out of nowhere. You can wake up and be so high and paint something magnificent that you don't even know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But one thing for sure, no artist can paint the same painting twice in the exact same manner. So the minute you are on that high, you need to vomit out. You need to, purge it on canvas or on a paper.
Yeah.
So it comes up, because it hits you only one time. It will never hit you again.
Wow. There is a certain look that artsy-fartsy people have,
Okay.
which you don't possess. Can we just be real? Like, you guys need to be seeing this lady. She banging. So, it's the general hippie look, like we don't care about ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm one with the earth.
Yes,
Peace, peace, peace.
yes.
And you don't have that. Like, you really do have the whole shush thing together. Head
Corporate.
deep. Yeah, you've got that whole look going. So when you try to sell your art, to general public or to studios and art galleries, is that ever an issue because you just don't fit the profile?
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting that a lot, especially from my co-artists. Like I exhibit along this Senzo. You can see him and his crew.
Yeah.
Like, and then here I am, I'm trimmed and I'm looking like, and he was actually doubtful. And he came to me while I was hanging my pictures.
Right.
He says, who's the artist? I said, I'm the artist. So he looks at me and he's like, in like doubt, like, okay, you don't obviously look like one of us. I am aware. But remember, it's a certain mentality maybe to maybe attach to other, or it's cultural, continental. Because if you look across international, other artists that are decent, like Senzo that I know personally, he looks obviously like, carefree spirit. Then there's the likes of Loyiso Mkhize. Loyiso Mkhize wears ties and suits to his exhibitions. You understand? We are different types of, but I must say, I do possess the crazy element. I am a bit cuckoo. They say artists are crazy people, so...
Well, crazy it is, and that is what we bring you between the hours of 2 and 3 on a Thursday. Young Minds in Entrepreneurship, man. I wish we had more time together because you definitely are a wealth of knowledge. Your hustle is like I've not heard of before. As a young woman, you definitely are going to be going out there and just prospering. I cannot wait to have my own Tsomo sculpture of Miss Lee. Get that?
Oh, yeah, girl, you get it.
Thank you so much for tuning into the KYC on the Thursday afternoon. Hope that you do get into the space of your own journey and just embrace who you are. Like Lee has said, you don't have to be good at something and also be passionate about it, but you need to sculpt your own way. Hey. You need to be sculpting your own way. So thank you so much, Lee. Once
welcome.
Again, we've got one here that says, hello, Miss Lee and Lee. Thank you so much. Sorry that I'm so late for this one. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Do stay tuned to your favorite radio station, Kofifi FM 97.2. Up next, we do have the Jive Drive with Ling Ling and Pups himself.
Stay tuned to Kofifi FM 97.2, where it all began.
Yes, like it, man. Ay, damn it, man.
Awe, masakan, wat gaan aan?
Oh, broer, ek soek my R100 van my stoot sien,
Hoor my broer, weet jy wat gebeur moet gaan tip? Ook gaan tip gaan maar by 'n gym toe huis in en vra vir die meisie, hoeveel is dit 'n uur? En die girl sak af R100. Nou vra gaan tip, sal sy colored style doen met my? Nee, sê sy. Okay, right, sag is gaan tip sê, ek gee vir jou R200 vir colored style. Wie sê sy, nee, want sy weet nie wat is colored style nie.
Kyk, jy hebt doodsie. Vandag moet sy nie sukkel met my nie, ne?
Right, luister man, luister. Wag. Gaan tip sê, okay, ek gee vir jou R300. Wat sy sê, nee. Okay. Wat as ek vir jou R500 gee vir colored style? Sy dink op iets haar oor en sy stem toe in.
Ag nee man, yes, like it.
My broer nou het tip. Vir 'n uur is hulle besig, my broer. Al die styles en posisies. Maar die girl sak af. Dat was wonderlik, ja. Wat ek iets weird en disgusting verwag. Waar kom die colored style dan in? Ek betaal jou einde van die maand.